everybody. This is Micah with Micah Renee Coaching. I am here with my husband, Daryl Abington. We just wanted to have a little chit chat tonight. We actually wanted to talk about this couples retreat that we are facilitating in August. It's August 15th through the 18th. That's right. That feels right. August 15th through the 18th. It is called Rooted in Love, a couples retreat. We're inviting any and everybody there. If you are a couple that's seriously dating, if you're married, so this is for married folks and unmarried folks, but it's going to be a fun time. And we just wanted to talk about stuff. What do you want to talk about?
So, I got an idea.
Okay.
So my last therapy session,
Talk louder.
we were discussing a concern you and I had talked about previous to the our marriage session.
So you about to just put me on blast without warning. Okay,
well,
let's talk about it.
So we brought up that you would like for us to have our family vision.
Okay.
And we talked about, as the husband, you would like for me to create, which is a great idea. I love that. 100%. Create the family vision for our family. And so in my last therapy session, what I've learned is, because we're two different people, you know, we're not the same. Not at all.
Not even close.
Not even close.
It is evident in the way that you're getting to this point. But
Carry
on.
Yes. So, and that's why we're here.
And that is why we're here.
Because, you know.
Jesus. Ooh, that is why we're here.
That's why we're here.
Yes. Because we're not the same. But sorry, go ahead.
Yes. And because we're not the same, and we see things totally different, but we have to be one together. We have to be one union. We have to live together for the rest of our lives together. So we have to make this work.
I mean, there's ways around it, but I get what you're saying.
We have to make it work.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so go back to your first thought. You said it made you think about, we had a therapy session as a couple where I brought up concerns about not having a family vision. Fast forward, you said your last session with your individual therapist, that was brought up in the session again. And where were you trying to go with that statement? Because I think I lost you.
So, what I have learned is, one, that is a great idea that you as the wife want a husband to lead, which in turn, create family vision, create goals and planning for the future, and outline what is it we're taking our kids to and from and all that good stuff, right? But at the same time, from my point of view, I believe myself and other men probably, didn't think of coming to the wife with a paper and say, this is where we're going, this is the layout, this is the plan, but we just do.
Okay.
And I found that in the midst of that, we are creating family values, our beliefs, boundaries and directions and planning, but we just don't outline it and put it on paper. It's just the way we move, But what I have is some documents to talk about.
Oh, you came with receipt. I thought we was just having a casual conversation. You came.
We are.
Ready to go.
We are. But I just
set up.
No, it's not, because it's gonna be real good. So no, I like the idea, You see how we come together?
Mm-hmm.
You have a perspective of, you want to see it on paper, you want to see an outline, you want to be able to
And if I could clarify,
visualize.
can I clarify?
Uh-huh.
It's not so much, well, because I am procedural. So
Yes.
to a degree, I do want to see it on paper. But I don't know that the expectation is that you're coming to me with paper in hand and saying, hey, baby, I've documented the vision. Here's the plan. It's more about where you're saying you're moving in that direction and you're just naturally navigating the plan that you have in your head.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say the expectation is I'm just to trust it and follow. But I don't know what's in your head. So it ain't got to be on paper, but have we had a conversation about here's the plan? Are we revisiting said plan on a frequent basis, right? In your mind, like, I got the plan. I know what it is, and I'm moving. And I'm back here like, well, where are we going? Because, okay, we going here? Oh, we going here. As opposed to, let's have the conversation. Hey, babe, we're going to take a right at the light. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So, yeah, so when you say I'm looking or we're looking for men, and I can only speak for me, I'm looking for you to bring it to me on paper with outlined bullet points. Not necessarily, but kind of. More about a conversation and revisiting, because your plan today can change. And so if we visited a plan 5 years ago, today that plan might be obsolete, but we've never talked about it again. I'm giving scenario.
Right.
If we haven't talked about it again and you're just moving, I'm in the dark.
Okay. Yeah. And that's good.
Excuse me.
And also that I think together couples create the plan, create the vision. And like you said, if we don't have it anywhere where we can revisit it and look back and say, are we moving in this direction, or are we skipping over some things, leaving some things out, or we fulfilling some of the things that we both agree on, right? If we don't have that on paper anywhere to, or document it so we can look back at it, we have to go back in our memory bank and pull it up.
And you already know my memory bank ain't banking. So that's not
right.
gonna work for me.
But I think, so I like the idea of having family business meeting, family meetings, and we can talk about things that, because life moving fast, kids' activities, work, businesses,
all the things,
all the things that we, aspire to do and be in life can take a lot of our time, and we just be moving forward and never double back to check on some things that we talked about.
But us having this conversation, I'm curious how many people go into marriage without a plan. Right? Like I'm really curious. So if you are watching this video, it's not a live, sorry. But if you're watching this video, I would be curious if you are open to share, like how many out there have gone into marriage without a vision or a plan, right? Or, because what we talked about it is like, you got your plan that you working in your lane.
Right.
I got my plan that I'm working in my lane, and we ain't talked about it. And sometimes those plans don't converge, like they're not going in the same direction. There have been times in our marriage where you going right and I'm going left, and it's like, well, what we doing? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, how many people actually are raised even or taught that, hey, when you go into marriage, y'all need to be united, not just in one, how the Bible says you become one, but are you clear about what your vision is collectively?
Let's talk about that though. Let's look back on when we got married.
I would argue that we kind of did though. We kind of did though.
Well, let's talk about this, because we came into our marriage.
Stupid. Oh, sorry.
We wasn't planning on having kids when we got married. So we didn't plan kids in our future.
But that was it was planned not to. And then again, things changed.
It wasn't planned not to.
I was clear about that.
It was more like, well, it's not going to happen, so we ain't going to worry about that. No?
I was clear about I didn't want to have kids when we got married. And then some juju got on me. And I don't know what happened. And I was like, and I don't know if it's that, you know how they say when women get closer to 30.
Just added another conversation to the conversation.
Well, you can't, ADD, you gotta stay focused for a second. You can't keep, write it on your notepad.
No, I don't have to because I'm going to remember this one.
Lies. But anywho, but I would argue we had somewhat of a plan, and the plan was not to have kids. But again, we revisited it because that's how we ended up with them, because we did in vitro.
Well, yeah,
right?
You came to me one day and said, hey.
What you think about?
Yeah, so that's not revisiting. Like,
it is.
It's not really revisiting. Like,
I just had a thought and I shared it.
This the plan we talked about. Let's overlook this plan again. It's more like, hey, I just figured out something. But, so we'll go back to that then. We got married.
Mm-hmm.
He was clear. As she said, I heard it. She said it. I was clear we wasn't going to have any kids.
That's not how I sound.
We can roll the camera back. We can roll it back.
You're a hater.
I can throw the flag and see.
You're a hater.
Okay.
Carry on.
So, if we was clear,
yes.
What happened to clear?
So let's talk about what happened to clear. We got married. I was 30 years old. I was in my new career.
Mm-hmm.
I was focused, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I talked about this in my infertility podcast. I think that I told myself I didn't want to have kids because I didn't believe it was possible, right? Because if you remember, first year of marriage, we had an ectopic pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was like, okay, don't want to do that again. So I think I got excited about what that could have been when we thought we would have been pregnant. And then when it didn't happen, it was like, okay, we ain't even going to go get our hopes up. So just tell yourself this ain't what you want. Right. Before that, I really didn't want kids. Like, I was living my best life. But then when we got pregnant, it was like, ooh, I'm going to have a little red running around. That's cute or whatever. And then when it didn't happen, I was deflated. Hater.
Oh, okay.
It was going to be red. But all that said, so when that happened, I think I just told myself, right, like I didn't want kids. And I say, like I talked about this in my infertility blog, because one of my articles was, I didn't want to be a mom until I couldn't. If that makes sense. Like my body physically couldn't do it. So it was like, I ain't getting my hopes up.
Right.
So then when I found out that there were other ways to go about it, because a lot of Black women do not talk about infertility. We don't talk about fertility treatments. But when I found out that that was an option, that's when the plan changed. And I did come with a plan because we had to figure out how we was going to fund it, these $1 million babies. And I laid the plan out. I was like, boop, boop, boop. That's how we going to do it.
Yeah, you came with a plan how it's going to happen, but you ain't come with a full conversation of, you know what? I used to feel this way.
Got it.
But now I feel this way.
Got it. That's true.
That's true. That's another. So that's one conversation, Another conversation is within marriage, there are going to be some growth.
Facts.
There are going to be some changes.
Maybe.
And
maybe
there's
not.
going to be some. Regardless of you want them or not.
One or the other.
Something's going to happen. Something's going to change over time.
That's fair.
You know.
Yeah.
So, growth.
Okay.
People get married, they grow. We experience that. We don't grow at the same time, right?
At the same rate.
At the same rate, we don't grow. Like you know, one might go here, one might hang around here for a little bit, still hanging. You know. Like other ones is growing, other ones is hanging.
Doing what they do.
Is hanging.
Coasting. Got it.
Floating.
Mm-hmm.
That caused problems in the marriage, right?
Absolutely. That's all you got?
No.
Oh.
I'm reflecting on it, right?
You said,
I mean, you got to think about that. Reflecting on it.
That's real, yes. That causes problems in the marriage.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, and when you talk about being like unevenly yoked, right? Biblically unevenly yoked. When I think about growth as someone who's continually elevating or growing, and someone who's like, this is cool right here. It's the sweet spot. If you think about a yoke, and for some of y'all who thought the Bible said that a yoke was an egg, it's that's not what it is. A yoke is like this bar. The best way I could describe it is a bar that connects the oxen.
Mm-hmm.
So when they plow the field, it's holding them together and basically keeping them in lock and step is the best way I could describe that, right? So think of a bar and it's like one moves, the other moves. So if one of us is elevated and the other one is stagnant, how do you link the yoke, right? Like, what do y'all gotta be? Either I'm gonna pull you up or you gonna pull me down.
Right.
And so when I think about growth, when we're not growing at the same pace, we're unevenly yoked.
Yeah.
Right? So that's my take on it.
All right, so interesting because you were saying we got married. In your mind, you know, I'm clear. We ain't have no kids. You live your best life.
Facts.
And I was like, well, let's live our best life. So once again, we both right here.
We both
live our best life. We just live our best life, right? Traveling. We just
partying. We doing
partying. We just wake up and just go shopping. Just when you feel like it, just go buy something.
Take
go
naps
buy
at
each
the
other
church.
something. Take naps at the church.
Oh man, those were the days.
Just jump on the road and say, you know what? Let's just roll to
Yeah.
an NFL game or NBA game, or let's just shoot out of town, see family. Let's just go here, go there. Let's just whatever, right? Let's go out to dinner. We ain't got to cook.
We got it.
I'm just reflecting.
Reminiscing.
Yeah,
this
I'm
is
having fun.
touching you at your core. Got it.
Like,
got it.
we didn't have to figure out cooking. Like,
right.
we felt like it. 9 times out of 10, we didn't feel like it. So we could just go get something to eat.
We did. I missed those days.
We was evenly yoked.
Then what happened?
In the relationship, one of the it can be either her or me, but one of us started growing. And the other one was still living the best life.
Oh, got it. And anybody who knows us knows who that is.
What? That's like an accusation.
How did you take that? I didn't say a name. Carry on.
So, all right. I'm following you now. All right. I'm following you now.
Yeah.
All right. So, growth came, and in the mindset of growth, you start thinking like, I think I might want to be a mom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think I might want to be a mom.
Because with growth comes possibilities.
Possibilities.
Right?
Okay.
And I don't know that those possibilities existed before the growth. Does that make sense? My mind couldn't fathom it.
Is that how you came up with the idea? Honey, I see some strong potential things in you, and
move your hand because they probably can't be mumbling.
Yeah. And I had a thought, because even though you're not seeing this within yourself, I'm seeing something in you. What you think about going back to school, get your degree, blah, 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 blah. Because now that you're growing, you're seeing possibilities.
Okay.
You know, you left a clouded area or time or space, and you started growing. And because you sat still, you started visualizing and seeing things a little bit clearer.
So if I understand your question, what you're asking me is, do I feel like as I was growing and elevating in that space, is that the time where I had this bright idea or saw something in you
that I didn't even see in myself?
Didn't see? I would argue that I saw that before I started growing.
Really?
I think I knew that. And it's not even I think. I know, because I wouldn't have married you otherwise.
Okay.
Right? So I think I saw that even before all of that. However, I think at the point of me growing, it was more like that yoke. Remember how I said if we're unevenly yoked, either I'm going to pull you up or you're going to pull me down.
Right.
So that I would say was an attempt to pull you up.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah,
I see it, you don't see it, and maybe you need me to tell you it's there.
Right.
For you to want to try it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where that was.
Gotcha.
Because it ain't no fun to be on top if you're going to be up there by yourself. I mean, I'm still trying to get there, but the little pieces I was making, like, what fun is it gonna be to be up here by myself?
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
So,
right.
yeah. And what kind of woman would I be if leaving you here? And not that I'm above you. I hope nobody's interpreting it that way, right? But what kind of wife would I be if I'm elevating and I'm okay with you not?
Right.
That don't make sense.
That's like when I hear people say they know some folks in a relationship where, the wife is out working and husbands are running around at the crib playing PlayStation.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
And good thing I wasn't a PlayStation and gamer type guy, but
you just
I'm
was
just
a partier.
thinking about stuff like that where she come home in the game, playing the video games,
But it's no different.
Yeah.
It would be no different. Me walking into the house and watching you play video games is no different than me coming home and it's empty because you kicking it. It's no different. Everybody's vice is different. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
so
right,
for that man, it's video games.
Right.
For another man, it's clubbing. For another man, it's women or alcohol or whatever, a woman even. It ain't got to be a man, woman.
Yeah.
So I would argue, So to me, it would be no different if I came into the space and you were playing video games versus I came home and you kicking it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's why it's good not to, judge somebody else's situation, because you may not be doing exactly what they're doing.
You doing something.
But you doing something.
You doing something. Yeah. And again, it depends on the person, because even when you think about, like, women spending money, right?
Yeah.
For a person that spend money, for one man, like, okay, well, you shopping and spending all your extra money on shoes and clothes doesn't bother me. But for another man, that might be like, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
like, if a husband working hard and saying, "Oh, we're gonna save money so we can buy a new house or something like that," and he working hard, putting in that overtime, and he come home tired, and he come in from work, wife not home. For some, they may be expecting a nice hot dinner. It's not there, but not always the case, because sometimes men do the cooking at home.
what man?
Well,
What man?
my dad's a cook.
Oh, got it.
My dad
Okay,
cook.
sorry. Carry on. Keep going.
But I'm not a cook. I'm not a cook. I mean,
I was about to say.
I used to think I was a jack of all trades.
Man.
But there was a few of them, I didn't.
You used to cook for me when we was dating.
There's a few of them that I jacked up, and cooking is one.
You used to cook when we was dating.
Well, that's because.
You just trying to get my drawers.
No, that's
Call
because.
it a thing.
That's because I was cooking like, once a month, and I had one dish I can cook.
I eat that same dish. I don't eat a whole bunch of different
Well,
stuff.
that's before I learned you. You know what I mean? It took me a while to learn you. If I knew you eat hamburgers every day, I'd have made you a hamburger every day.
Steak, broccoli.
But anyway,
Yeah.
no, I'm saying, so you at home, you come home working hard overtime, and you saving money, and then the wife come home talking about, I went and got my nails done, my feet done, went and got a facial, hair done, and some shopping bags. You like, you went to spend all that money for what reason? We ain't going nowhere. You just.
But so that brings up a different issue though, right? So when you give that scenario, and again, if you go into a relationship without a plan, these are things that bubble up that you like, well, wait a minute, I ain't know this is how you was going to be moving. I thought I was going to have dinner on the table. But when you give that scenario, homegirl didn't come home, you had an expectation that your wife was going to be cooking and doing things for you when you got home in that scenario.
Right.
She had, and I'm pretending that this is her expectation, she had an expectation that she was going to live, quote, the soft life, because that's the new term of the day. I hate it. But she was going to use live the soft life, and that meant that she was going to get to go spend the money how she wanted to do self-cares all the day long. So y'all both have expectations, but at what point in the relationship did y'all communicate that? Or did y'all,
right.
And again, this is a hypothetical scenario, right?
Hypotheticals.
But at what point did you have that conversation to understand, like, you thought I was going to be in the kitchen barefoot and pregnant. You tripping.
So going back to the other hypothetical example we gave about the wife, yes, working hard and come home, the husband either one sitting back playing PlayStation or he out kicking it.
Right.
So somewhere in a relationship, that's what he was doing when they got together.
True.
So maybe he had an expectation.
That we good. This is what it is.
Yeah, she know how I get down. So she cool with how I get down.
I can see that. And that's probably true. But with growth, things change.
Yeah.
Should change. People should change. Right?
I see
You should be ever evolving.
Yeah, I see those situations happen. Not saying that it was me that was in the situation, but
Well, I mean.
No, I'm saying friends that I know for sure that everybody in the world, they know this particular guy. He's kicking it. He's doing what he's doing. That's it. You know what I mean? So when you see him with a woman and know, that's your new chick, she must know how he getting down because everybody else know how he getting down. So why would she gonna expect something different from this cat when that's how he get down? But and that's where like in those days of me having friends like that and running around, we used to say that a woman slow you down from your hustle or your grind, or because you moving how you move, and they come in and they want you to sit around the house, and you're like, no, I'm out. I'm out. That's what
I hear you, and I understand the mentality the perspective that you're coming from. But knowing what you know now and being connected to this woman, did I slow you down or did I elevate you?
Well, let's keep in mind, I said I never was in that situation.
Touche.
I'm just...
Because I would argue if you got the right one, right? If you got the right one, it's a plus. It's a guarantee.
So
plus sign.
We can talk about it from our experience.
Because the Bible does say when a man find a wife, he findeth a good thing.
Yeah. We started dating. I was a mover and shaker.
Yes, you was. Okay, sorry. Go ahead. And wasn't no was. Dating. Married. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
So that example that you just gave, because of the type of woman you are, you knew in your mind that this wasn't going to be something that
you wasn't
your man gonna be
shaking me.
Yeah, your man not going to be doing,
So I thought.
For 10, 20 years or plus,
I mean, yeah. I think going into it, I didn't, we was just doing what we was doing, right? Going into it, this my homie, he cool people. I kind of like him. He trying to get my cookies. Oh my God. But I think as the relationship built and I learned more about you, because we've known each other, but I didn't know you like that. So in my mind, I was like, oh nah, he ain't about, I knew who you was. He for the streets. I'm good. Right? But then when I got to know you, I'm like, oh, he's a nice guy. And then you grew on me. I was like, all right, I like him. But I'm saying that to say, once we decided that, okay, this is a relationship, this is a thing, I was very clear about, I ain't gonna be your we not gonna be boyfriend and girlfriend for 10, 15 years, and we ain't gonna be in and out of it, right? We on and we having a break every 6 months, not doing that either. So I think I was very clear about that when we decided that, okay, we're gonna be in a relationship. Now I can't tell you at what point I made that statement. It wasn't like, oh, we're in a relationship and I'm not gonna be your girlfriend for 10 years. I think it was later in the relationship that I pointed that out. But I pointed that out because of who I thought you were. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So if you moving and shaking and that's the plan, I'm telling you now that's not my plan, so that you can, like, we can dip. Yeah, we can dip, or, you know, whatever it's gonna be.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah.
So looking at young couples today, 2025, times have changed a lot. Because when we started dating, that was almost 20 years ago. That's over 20 years ago we started dating, but next year we'll be married 20 years. So looking at today's couples, I would think it'd be very challenging for young couples that started in their 20s, like, you know, we was 20s, early 30s, because I think people in our era, when you reach approaching 30, I think you felt like it's, you know, you're getting older. That's what you're supposed to do. Yeah, it's time for life to change, settle down, have kids. But now, I think 30-year-old, being an older person, I think now 30-year-old, they still have a lot of living to do before they should settle down, because people are traveling more across the world. You know, they're not just going to Miami and Atlanta and Vegas,
Chicago.
You know, yeah, they're going. You know, they're going to Dubai and they're going to Ghana and all kind of, you know, stuff. So I think that just kind of changed the whole dynamic of when a good time to start growing and elevating when it comes to marriage and kids.
So I think I have a slightly different perspective. Okay. I think the 30-year-olds of today there's so much influence. It isn't even so much about the traveling and living life. Because why can't I live life and travel with my boo? Like, me and you have fun together and we travel, but I still got my good girlfriend crew and we connect. You know what I'm saying? At least once a year, we're going to connect and do something and travel. So it's like, just because you got married doesn't mean you stop having fun. Right. And perhaps that's the perception. But for me, I think it's the idea of all of this social media influence and what relationship is supposed to be. And you got these loud voices, like I said, people trying to live the soft life, whatever that means for you. And if that's your jam, that's your jam. But it's like the idea of self-care, even. For a lot of people, self-care is like, oh, girl, I'm getting my nails done, my hair done, and I'm going to get something to eat. That's part of it. Right. But that ain't all of it. Like, do you love yourself? Self-love is self-care. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of these people in this age, and if this ain't you, don't come for me, but I see that some are, it's like, you're not even self-aware. You don't know what you want. You don't know who you are, and you're attracting who you are, but you don't see it because you wear this facade, right? You put on this mask, and it's like you show up one way, but on the inside, you really something else, and that's what you keep attracting. And you don't like it, but you don't know how to clean it up in you. Right. And I think that's why people are not settling down, because what's mirrored is not what you desire. Yeah. But you're not even aware that that's in you for you to change it to attract something different. Does that make sense? Yeah. So, I mean, I think, you know, you can be 30 and still travel and see the world and get you a boo and see the world and travel with boo and still see the world and travel with friends. I don't think that stops you from doing that, but you're right. I do think the younger generation ain't with it. I think another reason is because what did they see before them? Yeah. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, yo, you've been miserable in your marriage. Why would I go get married? That's dumb. Right. Right. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing that.
That's really something, because people think everybody who is married is miserable. But then all your single friends seem miserable. They seem miserable. So where does the happiness lies? Within you. Absolutely. Happiness is here. we had to go through that to learn that. I'm thinking to myself, I'm not good enough. I don't make you happy because I don't think I'm good enough for you. I don't think you're happy. When really any unhappiness that you was experiencing because you were dealing with something within yourself. And I'm thinking, I'm not making her happy, but well, I'm unhappy inside. That's why I had that thought. Because if I was a happy person inside, my concern would be if I'm not making you happy. But my concern would be what am I doing that I'm happy, and my happiness in turn going to create happiness for you. Yes.
Yeah. I agree. I think if people are miserable in their relationship or miserable alone, it's because they're miserable. It doesn't have to do with anybody on the outside. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I remember, I don't know if you remember this, but when I first started going to individual therapy, I was miserable. Right? And I didn't, and in my mind, I'm not happy in my marriage. I'm not happy as a mom. Like, I just was just like, what is going on? And that's what triggered me to start my individual therapy, because I was about to leave all of y'all, you and the kids, because I was over it, right? Because I was just unhappy, and I didn't know why. Like, you were making me unhappy, the kids was making me unhappy, but then when I did my therapy, to your point, it's like, girl, you just miserable, and you need to pick that stuff apart. And it wasn't so much that I was miserable, but the kids were poking at a childhood wound that was, I thought I had dealt with, but the kids exposed it, right? And that's why I was showing up in our space miserable. So to your point, that's just an example of, yes, when you're unhappy, it don't have nothing to do with people around you. Could do all the things in the world to make you happy, but you still gonna be miserable. You know, the saying Debbie Downer.
Yeah.
You're gonna find something negative about it because you're miserable.
And as funny as it sounds, I remember several times you would ask me, is there anything that you're not doing? Or there's anything that I'm not, or is there anything I'm unhappy about with you? And I'm sitting there thinking, nah, you good. Like, nah, I don't have any issues with you or there's not something you're doing that's making me like, like, but at the same time, you said something was wrong with me, right? That's why you kept asking me, because if it is, you're trying to fix it. But what you didn't realize was you couldn't fix it for me. If I was going to be happy, I'm going to have to do some work to get there.
But you didn't even know.
I didn't have a clue. You know, that's why I couldn't even connect to what you were saying when you was asking me, is there anything you can do? I'm sitting there like, nah, you good, because I'm clueless. I'm confused. I'm clueless. I'm all over the place. But I'm thinking, if I keep doing what I've been doing in my past life and everything else, I feel like I'm chasing some happiness, right? So I'm chasing some so-called happiness.
Because it makes you feel good.
It makes me feel good. It wasn't happiness. It was something that kind of just made me feel good. Almost like if you got a headache and you take an aspirin or something, you know, so you're going to feel good because you took something for that moment. But you never go back to what triggered that headache. You know, like why I'm getting these headaches, you know, where they coming from. So we never addressed the real problems, why I keep getting these headaches. So up until the point where I finally went to therapy and finally listened to a therapist and finally...
That part. The finally listened and connected with the therapist.
Connected with a therapy.
Yeah.
I mean a therapist in therapy. It hit me. It's like there was a lot of things, and since I was a kid, that I held on to, and I'm trying to feed that pain.
The inner child.
The inner child. I'm trying to feed that pain. As long as I keep feeding that pain, I'm thinking I'm good. Like I think if I'm buying you stuff and we having fun and I'm thinking like this is all for you, this to make you happy with me, I was really doing it for myself because I was searching for some validation. I'm searching for some inner power. I want to be strong. I want to be, you know.
You the man.
Yeah, I just want to feel like.
You the man.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So it's like, I'm telling myself, oh, this is for you, but it's really all for me. You know. It was all for me. But then, back to what we're talking about, I had to start finding happiness within myself. If I'm gonna make somebody else happy, I'm about to find happiness. I'm sorry, not even make somebody happy. If I'm gonna allow my happy energy to be shared with someone else, I'm gonna have to create that happiness on the inside and let it overflow externally.
But I want to go back to something you said too, because imagine being in, you don't have to imagine it because we were there, but being on the other side. So imagine being in relationship with someone and the way that they're showing up is not the energy that you feel in the space. So when you were talking about, I would often check in with you like, hey, are we good? Is there something I can do? Because I can sense that you're not okay or happy or whatever the words are to describe that, but you're trying to create all of these actions that say otherwise.
Right.
No, I'm like, can I do anything different? Is there anything? Because I just check in anyway, because I know I'm not perfect, right? So I always check in like, hey, is there anything that I could be doing different? Because you might have liked it yesterday, but you don't like it today. And the response was, nah, you're great. You're the dream girl. You're perfect. And I'm thinking like, okay, your words are saying this, but your actions don't match. So imagine being the person sitting in that space, like really dumbfounded, like, bruh, you are pissing on me and telling me it's rain because I can see that the actions don't match the word. You know what I'm saying? And so I think when we were talking about this younger generation not having self-awareness, when you have that self-awareness, you can see through people. Right? So in that space when you're telling me everything is good, but it's not, I know that and I can see that it's not good. Now, when you don't have self-awareness, I'm going to just take what you tell me and be like, well, he said we're good, so I guess we're good. But if you pay attention, I never let it go. Now, I didn't nag you about it, but it wasn't something where I was like, okay, well, I guess we're fine.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's why also individually therapy is important and that self-awareness, because when you know who you are, everything is just clearer. Like you just see the world. And I feel like you experienced that because we talked about it when you were going through your therapy, right? It's like a veil is lifted and you like, dang, I can see everything.
And here's the funny part, because most of us think we know who we are.
Facts.
You know, I thought I was 100% tapped into who I am. And at any given time, when I said, I am who I am, that's the first sign of you don't know who you are. When people say that, when somebody tell you in response to you trying to help them, and they tell you, "Oh, this is just who I am. This is what you see is what you get." That's a sign right there. You actually don't know who you are then. If you say those words in a moment of somebody trying to help you to connect to who you really are, because they seeing some things from the outside looking in and seeing these different little changes you're going through.
Right.
You know, if I'm sitting here witnessing all these different changes you're going through, that's telling me like, you don't know who you are. So if I bring that to you and you're like, oh, I am one, this is who I am. This is, then you just told me you really don't know who you are.
Yeah.
Because, and that's my experience. I experienced that.
Yeah.
You know, ain't no way in the world you could have told me like, I am who I am, because I've been living it forever, you know, for a long time. But I created
that image.
I created not only the image, but I created that persona on the inside. Like I built up this, you know, through my experiences.
Right.
So this can be torn down, just like I built it up. It can be torn down.
And to say that this is who I am insinuates that there is no opportunity for change.
For growth.
Right?
Yes. To say this is who I am, meaning there's no opportunity for growth. That means that you're saying right now that you can't be no better than what you're showing me right now. This is your best. This is the best it gets. It stops right here.
So with you saying that, then, when you made the statement, this is just who I am, did you feel like that's all there was? Like, did you feel like that was the best that you could get? I feel like that was the best version of me. Looking back on that, and when I learned and discovered that, in my mind, like, I felt like, and that's why people say this is who I am, because you feel like, you feel like you're giving the best version of yourself. Right. Otherwise, you would be bragging about this is who I am. You know, you know. Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah. So because of, and you said it confidently. You know, you said it with confidence. You did. You know, you stick your chest out with it. This is who I am, because in your mind, that's where it gets. Yeah. But once I, tore down that wall, rediscovered some things, and said I can recreate myself. I can go higher. I can go above and beyond. This is not me. That's not me. That's who I was and who I became. But I can become something else, something better. It's been fun to watch. I will say that. It's been fun to watch, because I remember one time we had a little tiff. I can't remember what started the tiff, but I remember your statement being, you changed. I didn't change. You changed. Do you remember that? And I don't know what the argument was, and it was like, the way you said it was as if my change was a negative thing. Right? Like, I'm not the one to change. You changed. And it's like, I did, because at this big age, I ain't doing what I was doing at that little age. You know what I mean? Whatever that was. But I remember that statement, and it kind of stuck with me. So to watch you as you're navigating who you're becoming, it's been fun to watch. So, I see you. Yeah.
And if you think about that, we should never, ever look at ourselves as we didn't reach the top tier of who we can become.
We should be ever evolving.
We should be ever evolving. And we're capable of keep growing and growing and growing to something much greater.
And it doesn't even necessarily have to be, right? Because I think this generation or this day and age, we're so caught up in the stuff of it all. So when people hear growing and elevating, there's a number attached to it. Yeah. Or a dollar sign attached to it, right? Like, oh, I'm elevating. I want these. You ain't on my level. I'm getting the bag, all the things. And that's cool. But I think when you say, in the context that I'm speaking about, ever evolving, it's growing in knowledge of yourself, growing in wisdom in your actions, growing in all areas of your life, not just monetary, right? Because the other thing, for those of us who are looking for the bag, you can only grow professionally as far as you're willing to go personally. So, if you don't grow on a personal level, your business is only going to go as far as you allowed yourself to go personally. Right. I have seen some friends change their diet, and that's a growth. That's another area of growth. Whereas people who they ate certain food and they argue against, what I mean. I remember somebody being in conversation and hearing guys like, quote scriptures about pork, or anything else that we will say is unhealthy, and they will argue and have good points. They will research and tell you why they can, and then years later, they change their diet. So growth comes in many ways. It can help you in the area of your health,
wealth, education, relationships, relationships within the family, spectrum of family, you know, and the way you love and care for others, friends, folk, or strangers. I hear people now my age when they say if they out driving in a car and, you know, somebody road rage, we used to hop out so fast and be ready. Be like, I wish somebody would say something, you know, and jump out. But nowadays, like, you know, you grow, you're like, man, you know what? I'm too old to be doing that. Serious. Like, listen, buddy, you want to jump in front of me and get wherever you're trying to go? Go ahead. I'm not in a hurry to get nowhere.
I'm still growing in that area.
Yeah. You still lean on the horn.
And it'll roll up next to you. What?
But and I'm talking about some folks that I know they ain't no chumps and they scared. It's just the fact that why was I doing that anyway? Right. Like I'm fighting over a lane or a space that's not mine. You can have it. If you in a hurry, go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you got to be somewhere, you go and get there. You know what I mean?
Facts.
I'm fighting over this for no reason. You know what I mean? I'm gonna say no battles for, you know, something else. But that right there, why am I battle over that for?
Well, and again, it goes back to, I think, self-awareness. Because a lot of times I think what we don't understand in those situations either is it's what I call arguing about cheese. You know how I'm like, we are sitting here arguing about cheese. It's those situations where there's a deeper underlying issue that's triggered by this individual cutting you off.
Right.
You done tested my manhood.
Yeah.
It ain't got nothing to do. They just in a hurry, but you took it personal.
You took it personal,
right? So it's like when we would have arguments, it's like, hey, honey, can you give me the cheese? And you're like, well, which cheese? Well, just give me the cheese. What did it? And it turns into an argument. And it's like, we're really not arguing about cheese. Yeah. It's something that happened yesterday, and I'm triggered because of the way that you responded to getting me the cheese. You know what I mean? So.
And that's an area of growth that I think most people don't realize. When you grow beyond that, when you have an issue with someone, you can address
the
issue, and not in a way of, you know, we're going to fight about it, but let's just go ahead and talk about this so this won't be, and understand, because we don't want this to be an ongoing issue that jumps from one thing to another to another to another. We're going to take care of this now. Right. Like a bill, you know, the bill due today, we're going to pay this bill today. We're not going to pay it 3 months down the line. Right. You got 4 or 5 other bills.
Now we got late fees.
Yeah, now and then you 3 months behind. No, we ain't going to let this issue be 3 months behind and on top of some other issues. We're going to talk about it now. That's very important in a marriage and relationship. Yeah. Like, not to allow them issues to linger on for days and days, and then we just walking past and, you know.
I have no idea. This is still recording or not.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to check though.
All right.
I'll cut you off. Hold on. Oh, it is. Sorry. Carry on.
You say organic, we mean organic.
God, I'm recording on my phone.
We don't do scripts. We don't do scripts. This is real life.
It's real life.
So yeah, so if you sweep something up under the rug, it's not gonna get picked up by somebody else. It's gonna be up under the rug until you step on it and remind yourself, oh, this is still up under the rug. I forgot it was there. You know.
So let's talk about sweeping stuff under the rug.
We used to do that. I used to do that.
Yeah, not we.
And I said that because you so quickly jump on that. Let's talk about
No. I wasn't, because I was trying to put you on blast. You put yourself on blast.
I know. But you got behind me. Keep blasting.
I've done that about every topic. You see that I've hit a sensitive point, because I've done that for every topic you've addressed that I had a second thought about. So you're feeling triggered right now.
No.
Moving on. So let's talk about the sweeping the stuff under the rug, right? Because I am one, and most people that know me know this about me, like, I confront issues, or some would say I'm confrontational, right? And I think when people hear that word, it has a negative connotation. And when I hear the word confrontational, simply means I am prepared to confront the issue on the spot. I don't let it linger. We're going to talk about it today, right? Where, like you said, you were more about sweeping under the rug. Talk more about why that was for you, or where that stems from, was your solution to the problem. Does that make sense how I'm asking that?
Yeah, I believe it's like just growing up, you know, we come from one of them old school families that something happened, it happened, you move on, ain't nobody talk about that no more. You know what I mean? It's like, let that go. We got other things to do. We got other things to worry about. We got other things to figure out. We don't keep sitting in the back crying over this, crying over that. And if you play sports, same thing. You get knocked down. Nobody want to keep seeing you crying and crying and crying. That play is over with. You got knocked down, get up. We got another play to go. Let's get to it. You know, just the same thing being in the streets. You know, nobody will sit back and worry about $5 that somebody owe you over there when you got $20, $30 more dollars to make over here. You got to get to it. You ain't got time to be sitting in the back and keep. And that was the thing with us. Like, Micah would bring up things and talk about things and just keep it open. I'm like, that already happened. Just shut the door on that and let's go. But what I didn't realize was, once again, when you sweep things up under the rug, nobody cleans it up. It's still there. So one day when you go to walk across the rug, you'll step on it and realize, yo, that's still there. But you like to, we didn't get everything up. Let's get it up. Let's get it up. Let's keep getting it up. We ain't got it all up yet.
We ain't got it all up.
Let's keep going. Yeah.
Get on my nerves.
Excuse me, honey. I want to talk about yesterday. I'm like, man, I forgot about yesterday. I'm trying to think about tomorrow.
I'm still steaming. I'm hot, and I done let you get off whatever you needed to get off, but now you done left me to hold all this bag. Like, I'm over here with the carpet, and you outside playing. Like, time out. I'm not cleaning this up by myself.
Yeah, time ain't wait for no one. I'm trying to keep up with time.
Yeah, no. But yeah, okay. But again, another example of we are polar opposite.
Yeah.
We are polar opposite, because I'm like, let's talk about it until it's done. Are you done? No, it's not done. You still feeling something? Yeah, I'm still feeling something. Keep going.
And it's funny when I watch you do that to the kids, because I like them poor kids. Because I'm like, something happened, right? And a little later, I'm thinking we at home now and everything good. Hey, kids. And Michael, hey, Riley or Ryan, come here. Let's talk about what happened earlier. I'm like, I know they like, we already been talking about that. It's over with. And I'm sitting like,
no, but that's not entirely true, because like when I think about, especially Ryan, because baby girl be pushing all my buttons, right? And so sometimes in the moment, my response is not ideal. Like I might snap, right? Like, girl, do the thing, and I said the thing, and do it. And I don't necessarily like to hint. Like I'm trying to be a gentle parent, but gentle parent is for gentle children, and I don't know if I have those, but I'm trying. And so when it happens like that in the moment, I want to make sure that I revisit the conversation, because I need I need to apologize for if I showed up how I didn't want to. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not apologizing because you're a kid and you got in trouble and, oh my God, I feel bad. It's more about how I want to show up as a parent. If it's not in line with that, I owe you an apology, because I've broken the trust and the expectation, right?
Yeah.
So that's one. But then two, to understand what the exchange was, why you were upset. How many times when we were younger, we got in trouble and it's just because I said so.
Exactly.
Right? I'm not just because I said so parent. I want you to understand why the thing you did wasn't okay, because I don't want you to do it again. And so if you're just in trouble with no explanation, okay, I'm in trouble. And then you're going to go do it again potentially.
And that's why I grew up with sweeping things under the rug, because when somebody say, yo, when I said, why I'm in trouble because I said so. Why I got to, because I said so. That's a sweet and move on.
Yeah.
And move on from it. No ask me no questions. But so you brought something to my attention also, is that because we are wired differently, I was a sweep a thing under the rug and move on person versus Micah, who is, we're gonna tackle this situation. We'll get down to it, and then we're gonna once we get through it, then we can move on. But we're not gonna move on without addressing the issue, right? But because of that, what I learned also is I process things when I
I'm wiping my foot off, that's all.
So I can't be in a conversation, whereas if it get kind of heated, that I'm going to respond the way I want to right then and there. So what that look like is I'm going to just respond reckless and crazy and just like not making any sense and just kind of just, all over the place. Micah is a sharp thinker. When she responds, she gonna know exactly what she want to say, how she want to say it, and she gonna hit all her points and hit all her things right then and there. Me, I'm not gonna do all that. So that means I'm gonna have to come back later on to talk about something, right? So it is best for when we have an issue that I don't just jump into the thing right then and there. I don't just jump at it. So I learned it is best for me to step away, breathe a little bit, reflect on what just happened, give it some thought, and then come back and have that conversation.
Oh, so you're coming back to get the stuff from under the rug, are you?
I gotta come back and get the stuff from under the rug.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, I can't just leave it there. And I can't sweep it up immediately because I'm gonna make a mess. So I'm gonna be mad about it. Something's gonna get messy. It's gonna get messy.
It is.
And I can't just sweep it under there and then and go and leave it there. So I gotta take a walk, think about some stuff, come back to it. And I did, when we have that conversation, I feel like I'm going to clearly get off my chest or mind what I was thinking about. And she going to be able to hear me clearly. And I'm going to be able to receive what she had because my head going to be open and clear to receive what she had. Because if she try to give it to me in that moment, I ain't ready to hear it. I'm ready to sweep it.
Yeah.
But we can't just sweep it and leave it. So
you'll shut down.
I'll shut down. Yeah, I was shut down. So I guess we gotta, most people, relationships gotta understand how each other operate. It took a while.
20 years.
Yeah.
20 years.
It's like she Pepsi, I'm Coke.
Nah, you ginger
I'm Apple, she Mac. I'm Apple, she Mac. You know what I mean?
That's the same, ain't it?
I mean, not Mac.
Dale.
PC. Yeah, PC. She Android.
I am.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So.
Your iPhone.
Yeah. So it's like, you got to understand how each other operate.
So we're having this conversation, and someone on the outside looking in is like, "Oh, that's cute. Oh, they got it figured out." Does it always work out the way you're saying it works?
No, not at all. And we don't have it figured out.
No, but like it sounds all fluffy, right? Like, no, we're opposites, and we've just worked through all the things. Like, even though we are working through the things,
no, it's challenging.
It be some days.
It's challenging
where we throw it all out the window.
It's challenging because trying to understand the Android when you're an Apple user and trying to understand Apple when you're an Android user is frustrating, right? So no, it was not. We don't have it figured out, and it's not smooth sailing.
Not at all.
You just got to take some time.
You have more tools this time around.
Yeah.
That's how I describe it.
You got to be willing.
You have to be willing.
And unassumable.
You have to be willing. And unassuming.
Unassuming. I made up a word.
No, you didn't. It's just not the. You're.
Because I will make up a word.
You're getting it's. Yeah, it's
I will make a word up. Because all words are made up for real.
Here you go.
So I can make up a word if all words are made up. They come from somewhere, right?
Anyway. Not even going there with you. But yeah. Yeah, that was good, babe.
But yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, that's good.
So if you made it this far, welcome to our TED Talk. But on a serious note, we think we're gonna do this like weekly. We don't really know. So if y'all have some, is it monthly?
No, I didn't say nothing.
We're gonna do it frequent. I'm gonna let y'all know what the calendar is. But if you have ideas or conversations that y'all would like us to kind of talk about, I want to go live, but I don't know how to go live and monitor the chat because I ain't that gifted. But if you guys have some topics y'all want us to talk about, put them in the comments. We would be happy to talk about our stuff. Like, we're transparent. This is why we put together the Rooted in Love workshop or couples retreat, excuse me. Because we thought to ourselves, like, we have married friends, we hang out with our married friends all the time, but I don't know that we have real conversations in those spaces as it relates to marriage. And we were like, what if there was a space where people could go and hear a couple really talk about what it has looked like to be married? And it ain't always been sweet. And it ain't just, ooh, girl, we made it through some hard times. Well, what was the hard times? Because I need to know if your time was as hard as my time, and now I know I'm not out here alone, right? So that's really what the couples retreat is about. Investing in your relationship, being around other married couples who may or may not be dealing with some issues that you're dealing with, or came out of the issue and can maybe be a beacon of hope for maybe what you're going through. But in general, just for you to get away with your significant other and just be in space and share space together and reconnect and recharge. So couples retreat, August 15th through the 18th. I'll put a link down there. Come hang out with us.
Absolutely. Come hang out with us. I think we're gonna go live with maybe 3 other couples.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, you know how to do that, because I don't.
Yeah.
You about to set me up for something.
We're gonna figure it out,
okay.
right?
Okay.
And we just gonna talk about some things.
There it is.
Like we said, it's all organic. I don't do scripts. That's not me. I'm like in a barber shop. You know, we in there, we talk, we gonna be real about it, and we just,
That's what it is.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
Bye, y'all.